Today I'm talking about game engines in general. I'll be talking about the three what I consider big game engines, which is Unity, Unreal, and CryEngine. I'll be talking about the cons and the pros of all of the engines and why you should choose one over the another for your project. Right now I've got Unity up, and I'll start talking about Unity. Unity is a game engine that is being promoted as extremely easy to use. You can do very much with very little actual code. And if you're stuck when it comes to Unity coding, or C Sharp, you could always just go on the internet and there'll be 100 things to help you. When it comes to Unity, it works like, instead of writing a lot of code and telling what goes where, you usually just write scripts. And you place the scripts on objects, and the script basically just says what the object is supposed to do. This makes it very visual and very simple to do, because you can do changes very quick and you'll see the difference right away. What I'm going to show you now is basically something I made in Unity 6 months ago for a project that never actually became anything, and I kind of just stopped working on it because it didn't interest me in any way anymore. And well, basically what it is you got a plane that is looping. It always goes out on one side, comes back out on the other side. Same with the fish and the shark. They'll always hit a point and they'll come back. What I was supposed to do was to make it so that when you click, the plane will drop bombs. You'll get points if you hit the shark. Now, I stopped because I had other things to do. But my point is, when I made this, the amount of code you actually needed was very small. I can actually, for example, let's go into the plane script, the player class. This is all written in C Sharp. Let's see. There we go. It's all very simple. This is everything, all of the code for actually making the plane move. There we go. This is the code. It's the same basically as the fish. Just you tell this what speed it's going to be going at, and what it should do when it hits the certain point, and should go back and it should start over again. This is all the code for the plane. This is all I needed. So you can do very much with very little, and it's because of Unity being so simple to use in that way that you'll see changes right away, and you can always just do a quick change to make things look good. And if it doesn't work, well, it will tell you. Now, another thing I love to show you is Unity is amazing when it comes to making islands. This is the first thing. If you ever want to try Unity, this is probably the first thing you should do. You should make an island with some water and a rock, and you could just practice. Basically you can just place a cube in Unity. You resize it however you'd like, and use the cube to learn basic scripting. The positive thing about Unity is that it already comes with a few decent scripts. For example, I can make this cube move or jump or do whatever. I won't, because, well, this video will not be about coding. It'll be about why you should and should not choose Unity and the other engines later. I've given you some good reasons why you should choose Unity now. It's easy to use. It's very flexible. It builds to a lot of different platforms. As you can see, you can build for Flash, Wii, PS3, Xbox, Android, iOS, Google Native, PC, Mac, and Linux, and a web player. Now, here comes the not so positive part about Unity. First of all, it is not a 3D modeling program like Unreal Engine would be. In Unity, you can basically just place objects in a field and you make them do stuff. The objects you'll probably have to create in another program like 3ds Max or Blender. What you can do in Unity is you can place basic shapes, and you can attach things to the shapes. You can make this capsule into a camera if you'd like. If you got some code for a camera, then this could be your camera, but you can't really do any 3D modeling in Unity. Another thing that's a bit sad about Unity is that the pricing is not really there for everybody. The big issue is that Unity Pro, which is basically what you will need if you want to be efficient when you make your game, will cost you $1,500 US. Now, some people may say, this is not bad. I mean, you can compare it to CryEngine and it's nothing. But the problem is that will give you the basic. Then you'll be allowed to build for the basics. If you want to build for Flash, or for the PS3 or the Xbox or the Wii or iOS for that matter, you're going to have to buy an additional plugin from the Unity store, which will cost you anywhere between $400 to another $1,500. If you want to build your game then for several different consoles or platforms, that's going to cost you quite a lot. And yeah, so it's pricey, but it's amazing when you get into it. You can do anything with this program. Next program I'll be talking about is Unreal Engine. I will not open Unreal because it's not really anything that I can show you, but when it comes to Unreal, the pros with using an engine like Unreal is the fact that you can model in the editor. You can make your own assets within everything, and that makes it a lot easier when you can actually just do everything within the game engine. You won't really need anything else but the game engine to make it work, and that makes it a lot more efficient than Unity, at least when it comes to modeling. The really big pro with using an engine like Unreal would be that the price is amazing. A commercially licensed model of Unreal Engine would set you back $99, 99 US dollars. What is positive is that then you're allowed to create your game and sell it, and Epic will not take any extra revenue from you until you hit 50,000 sales, and then they'll take 25% of everything you earn, which may sound like a lot, but if you're an indie developer just wanting to make a small game and sell a few thousand copies, that could actually pay off really well, considering that you might spend $99 on the commercial license, but at the same time you'll sell the game for $20 a copy, and you'll sell 2,000 copies. Oh, that's pretty good. And if you and let's say if you unfortunately happen to sell over 50,000, you'll probably still get away with making quite a lot more money than what you lose. So Unreal is really positive in that matter. Unreal uses something called Kismet. Kismet is basically visual scripting. So this is also a big plus, because as many others, I'm not great when it comes to coding. I know the basics, I can make things do what I want them to do, but it will take me a long time, and I'll mess up a lot along the way. Now, what Kismet is simply no coding. That's the easy way of saying it. You've got you basically just pull out a square with the name of the object you want to use, and you'll pull lines from the object to, let's say, something that makes the lights blink, and you can make a light blink in different colors. This is great. This makes coding a lot simpler for us who don't really seem to understand it that much. Now, for the final engine, I will be talking about the infamous CryEngine, also known as the most beautiful, in quotes, game engine in the world. Now, here's the problem with CryEngine. It's a simple problem. It costs you 1.2 to 1.5 million dollars to license, and you basically get a lot of the same things as you would get in Unreal Engine for 99 bucks. Let's say you're an indie developer and you're thinking about which one of these three engines should I use, and this might actually answer why most people tend to use Unreal Engine. It's, as I said, it's cheap, and most of the things you can do in Unreal Engine, or in CryEngine, you could probably do in Unreal. Yes, CryEngine will look prettier if you know what you're doing, but you need to think about the fact that can I make the same game and make it work the same way and look basically the same with a with an engine that costs me 1% of the other engine? Because you probably could. The cons of CryEngine is obviously the price. 1.2 to 1.5 million dollars for a commercial license is way too much, and for a lot of games I've actually seen, that basically just means that you've got a mediocre game with a pretty CryEngine logo at the beginning. And for some people, that will sell them the game. If they see, oh, it's CryEngine, oh, I'll buy it. It looks amazing, I bet. And then you get a mediocre game with pretty graphics. I mean, you can gift wrap a turd, it will still be a turd. So think about what you're actually making, and if you can make it in Unity with simple forms and simple shapes, then there's no need for an engine like CryEngine. It's something developed for big companies that probably would have no problem spending $1.2 million on a license. Overall, I must say, Unity is the best way to learn programming, in my opinion, because you'll do everything. You will see the difference right away after you've actually done the program, and you'll see the changes right away. It's fast and it's fluid and it's very efficient at what it does. Unreal, or the UDK, is very simple to use. It's efficient for non-coders, and again, you can basically make whatever you want if you've got a bit of skill and a good crew. CryEngine, you can make the same things as you can do in Unity and Unreal, yes, but the price is kind of a put off, or off-putting, you could say, unless you're rich. Again, just because you've got pretty graphics does not mean you'll get a good game. And with that, I'll end by saying that the best thing you could probably do is find out what you're making, and look at all the different options. And then you'll have to look at your budget, and eventually you'll have to see, I can make this for 99 bucks and it will look as good and it will play as well, and the mechanics and everything will work beautifully and as good as if I was to make this in CryEngine or something else immensely expensive and pay $1.2 million for the license. So in the end, it's up to you, but as I said, a gift wrap turd is still a turd. Thank you.